The heels have been tested, but not like this. Time to find out if Carolina is tough enough for a Thanksgiving helping of Tom Izzo.
This is Tyler Hansbrough, and you're listening to Locked On Tar Heels.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, what's up? It's Thursday, November 27th, 2025. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Get your gobbled turkeys out. Hope you're having fun watching the parade. I'm not in on the dog show because I'm getting immediately to football. And then we got the Tar Heels right after that. It's going to be a great Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your loved ones. Welcome into the Locked On Tar Heels podcast, the only daily North Carolina show out there. I'm your host, Isaac Schade. You're joining me at the place to get your Tar Heels content every single day. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcast network there is. Thank you for making us your first listen or watch on this Thanksgiving Day to help you avoid your family if that's what you're trying to do as you're listening to this. Special shout out to all you everydayers, all the members of the Locked On Tar Heels Discord community, and of course our great insiders as well. This episode is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if that bet wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. Download the app and get started today. Coming up on the show, I'm joined by our good buddy, Coach Bill Robinson. On Thanksgiving week, they're off from their games this week. Coach Rob is the head coach at Milligan University. The Buffaloes, my alma mater, oh, by the way, if you've not ever picked up on that before. And he is a 2-decade veteran of Carolina Basketball School, North Carolina's summer basketball camp. I'm in Amarillo, Texas today, and my book didn't make it into my backpack with me. But, man, you should go check out Coach Rob's book by the same name. It is great. We're a month away from Christmas. It's a great gift for your favorite Carolina fan or your favorite State or Duke fan as well. Speaking of Thanksgiving, I'm obviously not in my usual setting if you're watching this on YouTube. And also, the video, like the internet where I'm at, is a little sketchy. So hopefully the video is okay, but if not, stick with us and apologies. Here's where Coach Rob and I are headed today. It's a Michigan State preview. I love that we get this game on Thanksgiving Day. So we're going to look at, is Carolina ready and tough enough for this game? Can they stop their first half turnovers? Oh, good grief. We'll get to our what to watch for in segment 2, where Coach and I give you 4 things we're watching for, particularly in this game. And then at the back end of the show, we're going to get to know Michigan State, and we'll wrap it all up with Carolina wins if and a game prediction. So, Coach, happy Thanksgiving, brother. It's great to be together.
Happy Thanksgiving to you. I missed you last week, and glad to be back on with you.
Yes, absolutely. Look, we get the drill when it's basketball season for you. Life is crazy, right? Like you told me next week, you guys have 3 games in 6 days.
Yeah, and it's just we had a cancellation or postponement because of a crazy lighting situation. But, yeah, it just happened. So no games this week, 3 games next week. So it's all about making adjustments and being flexible.
Absolutely love it. Well, I'm glad we're able to be back together today, especially here on the holiday week, as I know all the listeners and watchers are very thankful for you and my brother. You know that I am as well, and I just absolutely love all of this that we get to do together. Let's talk Michigan State. This team is by far the toughest test of the season, with all due respect to Kansas. They're number 8 in the nation in defensive efficiency at KenPom. It's a Tom Izzo coach team. That's all we got to say. Coach, let's just go big picture right out of the gate. Are the North Carolina Tar Heels tough enough for the Michigan State Spartans?
Well, we're going to find that out, and it's going to be quick. Obviously, Michigan State's known for great defense and great being physical and rebounding and all those things, but they can score too. So it's not just about the physicality. It's not just they're a bunch of big physical dudes. They can play. So it's going to be a test, and I think these are the type of tests Hubert wants early in the season. They've had some cupcakes. They've had some time to figure out some things, especially with Seth being gone. So now's the biggest test of the year, and they're going to find out what they're really made of.
And I think it's one thing to talk about the toughness, Coach. It's another thing to ask about, are they disciplined enough? Because, for example, on the defensive end, you talked about it. While we think about Michigan State's defense, their offensive efficiency isn't as high. But, man, they are running the shot. You know, they're very comfortable. Jeremy Fears, their point guard, is in a Virginia sort of way. Like, it don't matter if there's 4 seconds left on the shot clock. They're working to find the best shot they can with all 30 seconds they have. So, Coach, how will you be watching to see if Carolina is disciplined enough to stay locked in to finding the best shot offensively and to staying locked in for a full 30 seconds and ending it with the defensive rebound on the other side.
Yeah, in today's world, with synergy and all the video that are out there available, people know what you're going to do, and especially when you have staffs that have 6, 8 guys all breaking down film on a regular basis. So, what I'm looking for is once the play breaks down, they're going to know option one, they're going to know option two. Can they get to option three? Can they make plays after everything breaks down? Hubert talks about that all the time. How efficient are we once everything breaks down, and then you have to go make a play? But are they disciplined to make the extra pass? They didn't do a great job of that last, against St. Bonaventure's. It just wasn't that great. Can they be unselfish? And if you're selfish against a team like Michigan State, you're not going to get great shots, and you're not going to shoot high percentages, and you're not going to play well. And that's the reality of it.
You mentioned Seth Trimble's name, and Carolina has now had 4 games without Seth. And, quite frankly, haven't played, Kansas is the only other high major Carolina's played. He was in that game. So now for the first time, you have a non-Seth Trimble against the nation's leading assist man, Jeremy Fears, who's averaging over 10 assists per game. Coach Derek Tyson, one of our regulars here on the show, asked this in the St. Bonaventure live post game, and I wanted to save it for this moment. He says, Derek does, it's the time of year to be grateful. And I know Simmons from St. Bonaventure was grateful that Seth Trimble wasn't playing because he was not getting over 20 points on Seth Trimble. Coach Seth Trimble will not be in this game either, and you're facing the nation's leading assist man. How does the combo of Kyan Evans and the rest of the backcourt and Caleb Wilson when he switched, what does Carolina have to do to slow Fears down?
Yeah, it's going to have to be team by committee, defense by committee. It's going to take everybody. Seth, we can keep talking about him. He's not coming back for a while, and we don't know exactly when he's coming back. So we hate it. But that's what part of what coaching is, and what having a team and going through a season, you have to make these adjustments as it goes. So I would like to see more and more people on him. I don't think it's like, if it's Seth, it's one person, just go guard him. That's your assignment for the night. Let's see multiple people on him. Let's see Evans on him. Let's see Dixon on him. Maybe even throw a Jonathan Powell in there, somebody with some length, just give him a different look. Even Jaden Young, give Jaden Young 3 minutes. Just go get him. Just go get him. Just don't hold anything back and just go attack somebody. So I think fresh legs and length can be something that could disrupt somebody like that.
Man, that's really interesting. I think back to last year when Carolina played Alabama and Nate Oates put Jarin Stevenson on RJ Davis and shut him down. I don't know that you can do that here just because of the size and length at other positions. But to your point, even just a possession here or there to just really mix it up, throw different looks at him. Coach, on the other side of it, as we think about being tough enough and being disciplined enough, that's on the defensive end. On the offensive end, one of the things that's begun to rear its ugly head, Coach, is not the same first half, I'll call it malaise, that we saw last year, where Carolina would just look uninterested at times and get down by 15 to 20 points. That hasn't happened, but there has been a turnover issue in the first half. We saw it in the Kansas game, where then they really cleaned it up in the second half, and we saw it with St. Bonaventure. 11 first half turnovers and just 2 in the second half. My word, Coach, they looked like an infinitely different team in both of those games in the second half. But you do that against this Michigan State team and you're toast. So, Coach, from the Nintendo nerd, our guy Connor, he asks, what needs to be done to limit these turnover-heavy first halves? It seems like we're still moving the ball well, but either we fumble it or we're not paying attention. Coach, what is it in your mind?
To me, it's about the intensity right out of the gate. And we try to find things in practice where we get right into something really quick. There's not a whole lot of warm up. There's not a whole lot of just right into it and see if we can get the intensity up right away. Unlike when you're shooting bad free throws, maybe that's something we don't talk about. You talk about it. You talk about the assists. You talk about the taking care of the basketball, the turnovers. Make the easy pass. That's one of Coach Williams, and that's a Dean Smith thing, obviously, that's been handed down. But don't try to make the home run, the fantastic highlight pass. Just make the easy pass. What's the next step? Make sure you're creating good passes by getting open, doing your V cuts, exaggerating the fundamentals, all those things, so that people are open to making easy reversal and things like that, and get the ball going side to side and making that defense work. If they keep the ball on one side and just try to play on one side of the floor, Michigan State's going to, they're going to take any options away. So it's going to have to be a ball movement, body movement, getting things open and taking care of the basketball and just making the easy pass.
And I think one of the things that I would almost want to default to here, coach, is saying, well, it's a new team with a whole bunch of new moving parts, and it's going to take a while to get it figured out. But coach, clearly they are in the second half. So that to me is not an expert. Like if you can do it ever, you can do it always. And maybe not, but I think that's a cop-out option. And so that's my gut reaction, is to say that. And then I'm like, actually, no, you've proven that you can take care of the ball, and so do it. So I love all those insights from you, coach. That's really good stuff. All right, we need to get to our what to watch for. 4 things that coach and I are watching for in this game, including Caleb Wilson facing the best defense he has in his young career. Can he take a step forward from the St. Bonaventure game? And Luka Bogavac is starting to figure it out on the offensive end. But what about the other side of the court? We'll bring all that and more to you in just a second. Right after I tell you about FanDuel, y'all, the NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game, or maybe you want to ride the hot hand, the good news is that FanDuel has live bets for you on everything from who's going to score next to what team's going to have a fourth quarter comeback, and so much more. Plus, you could take all these live bets and combine them into a same game parlay. And what does that do for you, man? That gives you a shot at an even bigger payout. I think that's so rad, because when you're able to get in on the action in real time, it gives you just a little something extra on every game that you're following. Looking ahead to Saturday, North Carolina football season-ending game at NC State. Win or lose, this is it, and that's all. The Tar Heels are 7.5-point underdogs right now at FanDuel. If you think they can win that game straight up against the Wolfpack, or at least stay within the points, then get in on that action. Why not? And it's great news, because right now, FanDuel is giving new customers, maybe just like you, $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head on over to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, coach, it's time for the what to watch for, where we're giving you 4 things that we're watching for today as North Carolina takes on Michigan State. Coach, why don't you kick it off?
First thing I'm looking for is, we all know Luka can score. I'm looking for him to step up defensively. There were some plays at the St. Bonaventure game. It almost looked like there's some friction between he and a teammate about communication between screens and switching or not switching. And I'm really curious to see if he starts maybe making defense more of a priority in his life. And I think those are the type of things that, when you're adjusting to a new situation, that's the last thing you do. But we want him to see him play a little bit better defensively. That's my very first thing I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, coach, you good grief, talked about this all summer long, and the lead up to this is the longer that it takes for Luka to be able to get to Carolina, the longer these kind of things are going to take to get adjusted. So in your assessment through 6 games, how much of that is like inability on the defensive end, and how much of it is still getting enculturated into the North Carolina way of playing defense?
Yeah, I think it's half and half. I still think there's times where he maybe doesn't see it such a personal priority. He's out there to score, and he has to make that more of a priority for himself. But I do think there's still communication opportunities just to play with each other. If you've been playing together since June, maybe it's a little easier to be playing better in November. But when you get here late, he's still not quite on board with everybody yet, in my opinion. And that's just from what I've seen on the outside. But still very valuable. I love the fact that he's doing what he's doing. But I'd like to see him a little bit better on the defensive end.
All right. So on a scale from James Harden to the best defensive player in the NBA, we're a little closer to Harden right now. But at least he's not olaying like James Harden does. Coach, what to watch for? Point number 2. We saw Caleb Wilson. Well, I'll just say the point and then get into it. How does Caleb Wilson manage against the best defensive team he's faced thus far? We saw him struggle a little bit, coach, on Tuesday night with St. Bonaventure, bringing all those double teams. Caleb's starting to process, in my opinion, hey, in high school, I could just go over, around, and through everybody because I was infinitely bigger than they were. But now I'm facing new levels of competition and more developed defensive looks and schemes. So how do I then process that? And coach, one of the things I said on Wednesday's show was it's not even just always about kicking it out of a double team. It's about reacting quickly, whether that's spinning baseline, if the double team comes from the high side, making the swing pass, whatever it is, just got to react quickly and decisively. And so I'm curious to see how Michigan State chooses to guard Caleb and how he responds to that. Does he continue to learn to trust his teammates more offensively and realize that he doesn't have to do it all. And what does that look like? So that's what I'm watching for, Coach. How can Caleb respond to playing the best defensive team he's placed? What do you see going on there?
I think it's part of his development, and I can see Tom Izzo just playing him straight up. Hey, we're bigger, we're physical, we don't need the help, and we don't need to cause all those breakdowns and people rotating and all those things. So I can see him just saying, "Hey, we're gonna play 1-on-1," or "Hey, this worked, it did. Let's double him. Let's do something different. Let's stun at him and come back. Just make this freshman have to make decisions." But in the long run, I think this is good for him because now he's going to see stuff from a great program, great defensive team, and this is how you learn. This is how you go through those steps. These are these aha moments that you have to go through to be able to continue your development in an upward way.
And that's such a good reminder because I think a lot of people see those moments and that growth and forget how good it is for your development, as you said, Coach, as a basketball player. Like, that's not a bad thing for Caleb to have had to go through that on Tuesday night. And I think your point is so great as well. Like, against a mid-major that doesn't have the size or talent of North Carolina, they got to junk it up a little bit and mix it up, even if they give up a wide open look because they're scrambling to rotate and things like that. I don't know that Michigan State's going to have to because of the athleticism that they have. I'm curious to see who guards Caleb, whether it's uber athletic Cohen Carr, Jackson, because I don't think Jackson Kohler has the defense to keep up with him, but Cohen Carr, one of the best athletes in America. And so I'm really curious to see how they choose to play that. And then that makes sense too, because then it's Jackson's Kohler and Jarin Stevenson on one another. So anyway, that's probably getting ahead of us a little bit, but just thinking ahead on that. All right, Coach, what to watch for point number 3?
I'm really curious to see how Henri reacts to the physicalness. He didn't seem to really react too well against St. Bonaventure's, and Mitchell kind of pushed him around a little bit. So can he rebound at the same level he's been rebounding? Can he get to his spots? Can he get deep in the post and still be able, or is he going to want to fade out to the perimeter and shoot threes all night? We don't want to see that. We want to see that balance, and we'd like to see him be able to do both, but he needs to rebound, and especially a game like this, he's going to have to rebound a ton.
Coach, what is that balance? How do you decide? Is it in terms of floating versus being inside? Is it like, hey, that's great when you're trailing or coming in secondary, we want you to hit that top of the key three. Otherwise, we got to have you in the paint. Yes, maybe you slide outside for Caleb or whatever it is. How do you think it's appropriate for Henri to work at striking that balance today?
Yeah, I think it's part of the system, part of whatever the coaching staff wants you to do. What I don't like is when they're trying to get him a post up, and if he can't get it, he just wanders. Let's stay where you're supposed to be so everybody else knows where they're supposed to be. And there's stuff that they run that they want him on the perimeter so they can open up the perimeter for driving lanes, obviously. And I love the trail three. He shot one Tuesday night that was probably a little bit too far out there, but I do love to see them, in the transition to run and drag that whole transition defense back to the middle of the lane, and he trails to the top of the key. He can make that shot. I didn't realize, looking at stats, how many more threes he's taken than Caleb's taken. Because Caleb really hasn't taken a whole bunch, but he's taken a ton. For a post player, he's taken a lot. So, but he can absolutely shoot that, and he hit a couple big ones in the Kansas game when I was there. So, but I think the rebounding, especially the defensive rebounding, is what's going to be a key for him.
Yeah, it's really interesting that, we talked about going back to Caleb, Coach. He has been so disciplined to not settle for those shots. Has not taken more than 1 3 in any game in this regular season. In fact, took none against St. Bonaventure and exactly 1 3-point attempt in the first 5 games. That's been really good to see. And Henri, while he's taking more, is making them at a good clip. And so you just want these guys to continue to take the right threes, Coach. I love your point there. Number 4 in the Four Corners recap. We talked about, Four Corners recap, what to watch for. I'm getting ahead of myself. That'll be later today after the game. We talked about Michigan State's patience on the defensive end of the floor, and that's going to mean it is incumbent and it is critical that Kyan Evans run this team well, that he does not commit silly fouls like that 4th foul on Tuesday night against St. Bonaventure. It means that, he's got to be able to run this team, get things moving, find the best available shots so that North Carolina can be efficient in the half court, because Tom Izzo is going to be preaching transition defense, not letting Carolina get out and run. So that means Carolina is going to have to find points in half court offense, and that means Kyan Evans has to have a big game. Coach, what are you seeing from him? How do you think Carolina can handle that well?
No, I think he has to run the show and get everybody involved, but he's not going to be the the major focus on the defense pregame for Michigan State. So he has to have the ability to knock down those shots when they do come back out, whether they double team Caleb or not. He's going to get open looks at some point, and he's going to have to be ready to, when he catches, to let that fly and be confident. And I think Derek Dixon's too is very, very important. It's not just him; it's got to be the two of them together. Again, watching from outside, it's hard to see, but there wasn't a big drop down from when Evans left and Dixon came in. The level stayed really high, and I was extremely excited about that because I've been talking about Dixon and how much I've loved him all fall, and now to be able to see him play the way he played, and he hit a big three the other night too. Just to be able to not have a big drop off when that bench player comes in is such a huge thing for a coach.
Man, those 9 second half minutes he played, like the first half minutes, I didn't think Derek Dixon was as effective, but in the second half, coach, in those 9 minutes, had 7 points in 3 different ways, 2 at the free throw line, the 3 that you mentioned, and a nice transition layup, had 2 assists, just 1 turnover in the game. Really, really good stuff from him. And that's what you need is Derek Dixon and anybody else that's running the show, whether it's Luka throwing a couple dimes or whatever, just got to be able to keep it at a high level. All right, coach, we need to get to know Sparty a little bit better. What does Michigan State bring into Florida? And how can North Carolina win this game? We're going to fill in the blank on that one, all coming up to wrap the show in just a second. Right after I tell you about Omaha Steaks, the holidays always feel a little bit easier when you already know the perfect gift. And Omaha Steaks, they make it almost too simple for you. Whether you're treating yourself this season or sending something memorable to a family or friend, Omaha Steaks delivers handcrafted perfection right to that person's door. And this week is the best time to jump in because their cyber sale is here and their deals are huge. The quality of Omaha Steaks is exactly chef's kiss what you hope for. Incredibly tender steaks, rich flavor, and meals that make hosting or even weeknight cooking even easier. Just thinking about it, I am salivating because I love it. In fact, I wonder if I can switch out turkey for steak for today's Thanksgiving feast because now I need some Omaha steak. Oh my goodness. I also love that their variety at Omaha Steaks is underrated. Yes, they have steaks, but also burgers, comfort meals, sides, desserts, and more. It's one of those gifts that truly fits anybody. Do they like to eat? This gift is for them. Honestly, it's the kind of gift that brings people together around a table. And best of all, you don't have to guess whether anyone wears an extra large or an extra small or anything in between. You just got to know if they like good food. So save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and an extra 20% off select favorites during their cyber sale. And for an additional $35 off, use promo code COLLEGE at checkout. Again, that's omahasteaks.com, promo code COLLEGE. Terms apply. See the site for details. All right, Coach, let's get a little introduction to Tom Izzo's Spartans here. This game is down in Fort Myers Suncoast Credit Union Arena as part of the Fort Myers tip-off. As a reminder, this isn't like a bracketed event. It's just 2 preordained games. And so North Carolina, Michigan State on Fox today at 4:30 p.m. We don't yet have the FanDuel line, Coach, but Ken Palm has it Michigan State -2. So it's basically a coin flip game. In the series all time, Michigan State has won 2 of the last 3, but North Carolina had won like 6 in a row prior to that. And so got to get the edge back from the Spartans. Coach, there was obviously that loss last year out in Maui where Carolina was an Elliot Cadeau missed layup away from maybe winning that thing in regulation. So you saw a Carolina team that even though it wasn't a great year, they had enough toughness last year to nearly knock off Michigan State. How can, I know it's a brand new roster basically, but how can you use that if you're the staff to lean into this year's game?
No, I think you definitely talk about, hey, we've lost 2 out of the last 3. This is a statement game. This is not this is a national Thanksgiving Day. This is where we get everybody's attention. It's time for us to show that we are for real. And I think that's what it's more about. I don't necessarily think it's about Michigan State. It's about, hey, this is about us. This is about who we are. This is about this year. It's not really about last year. We love that little revenge, but it's more about, hey, we're for real. We are a top 10 team and we need to make our statement right now.
Boy, I'm ready to run through a wall for Coach Rob after that speech. Let's get after it. Yeah, that's such a good word because I think a lot of people think, hey, we made our statement on a Friday night a couple weeks ago against Kansas.
No.
But no, this is Thanksgiving Day on Fox. People
Right.
have just watched the Lions play, and now they're watching this. Now's your moment. And we're in this 4-game stretch where Carolina has St. Bonaventure, Michigan State, at Kentucky, and Georgetown. To start it off 2-0 and give yourself some margin ahead of Kentucky and Georgia, my goodness, Coach, I'm right with you there. All right. Tom Izzo has been the coach in East Lansing since the 95-96 season. Man, I love that longevity. Thank you, Coach Izzo. That's incredible. Sparty right now, 11th in the AP poll. They're 17th at Ken Palm, 50th in offensive efficiency, 8th in defensive efficiency. Very similar at Torvik, where they're 16th. Offense is 48, defense is 6. So far, Coach, Sparty is 6-0. Their best wins are Arkansas and that Kentucky team I just mentioned. All the John Calipari teams, apparently. UMass is coming up next. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. And then Memphis right after that. And they've also beaten Colgate, San Jose State, Detroit Mercy, and ECU on Tuesday. Coach, their usual starters, Jeremy Fears, who we've already mentioned, the national leader in assists at 10.4 a game. Trey Fort, who comes over from Samford University in Birmingham. Cohen Carr, who's from my neck of the woods on the south side of Atlanta. This dude is uber athlete, not a great shooter, but he can dunk everything in sight. And then Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler, who's the leading scorer at 15.2 points a game, manning the front court. Main 3 guys off the bench, Cam Ward, who's a freshman, had a double-double in that Arkansas game. Jordan Scott and Kerr Ting. Coach, as you think about all of those various pieces, I know Michigan State is not a great 3-point shooting team, but they bring a lot of athleticism and toughness. As you hear and think about that personnel, anything else that comes to mind about this game before we get to our heels win if?
Yeah, I look at, just looking at stats, you look at 4 or 5 different things. The balanced scoring is very impressive. It's not one guy. So you've got 4 guys in double figures. You got another couple guys that are close. That makes it really hard to come up with a scouting report or come up with a defensive, game plan when you have so many guys that score at such a balanced level. The other one is we've mentioned is the assist turnover ratio. We talk about 2-1 is great for a player. That's a solid player. They're 2-1 as a team. That's crazy. And Carolina's not far behind that, but they are behind that. And then they're plus 14, I think, rebounding too. Carolina's plus 13. So again, just a little bit better. And that sometimes is the difference between the top 10 team and the top 15 team is just those little type things. And then defensive field goal percentage. I think teams are shooting under 39%. If I remember right, I don't have it in front of me, but something like that. When defensive field goal percentage is that low, it's really hard to score. Obviously, they're a great defensive team. But the one thing that you talked about, the 3-point percentage in today's world, Steve Robinson used to talk, can't shoot, don't recruit. Well, they don't have a ton of shooters, and right now that may be something that can be something that favors the Tar Heels.
Yeah, Coach, they are 56th in the nation, to your point about field goal percentage, at 38.8% they're allowing teams. But yes, they're only shooting 29% from beyond the arc. North Carolina, meanwhile, number 1 in the nation in 2-point field goal percentage. So I think one of the things, y'all, that you're hearing Coach saying is there's a lot of similar numbers here. And when it gets to be that level of a game, it's not about some big statistical advantage for either team. It's about just the little nuanced things that help you win games. So watch for those critical moments in this game. Who gets that big loose ball? Who's the first one on the floor? Who can get that unexpected rebound where maybe they shouldn't get, those little things can really turn the tide in a game like this. Is that a fair thing to say?
Oh, yeah. It's not just who makes the most plays, but who makes the hustle plays that's going to make the difference in a game like this. Who can create 1 or 2 more extra shots off an offensive rebound or diving on a loose ball is going to lead to that. In my opinion, I think it's going to be that one bucket that's going to make the difference.
Oh, man. Yeah. And to your point, Michigan State, 20th in the nation with 15.4 offensive rebounds per game. Where's their offensive rebounding percentage? I don't have that right in front of me. Stand by. Yeah, man, they're 41.7% on the offensive rebounding percentage. That's good for 11th in the nation, while North Carolina is 53rd at 37.2% offensive rebounding percentage. So that's a critical one. Finished possessions with defensive rebounds. Critical thing to watch for in this game. All right, Coach, let's finish this phrase. North Carolina wins this basketball game and goes to bed on Thursday night with a belly full of turkey and W's. Heels win if
they take care of the basketball and they can make some shots. And I think that's the difference to me. If they can make those 3-point shots, because we have better shooters, if we can shoot a better high percentage and make more threes, that to me can be the biggest difference, and that's how we win this game.
Coach, I love it. I just said there's not many statistical areas where one team has an advantage. That's a clear-cut one for North Carolina. They're now up to 34% as a team, right around 150th in the nation. Michigan State is not good. Pack the paint, make them beat you from outside. Coach, you kind of alluded to it, but I'm planting my flag in it. If North Carolina wins this game, if they limit their turnovers, 11 in the first half against St. Bonaventure, 2 in the second half. If they can stay to single digits for the game, like even if it's close to 10, like 8 or 9, and like critically, if you are committing turnovers, just not live ball turnovers that lead to run out easy points for Michigan State. That's what I'm looking for, and that's how Carolina wins. All right, Coach, let's wrap it with a game prediction. Again, Ken Palm has it, Michigan State 77-75. We don't quite yet have the FanDuel line. What are you going with for the final score here?
I'm going Tar Heels 75-72. I think it's going to be a little bit under what they were talking about. I think and I don't know who, but somebody's going to make a big three late. I'd love to see it be Luka and give him a little confidence, going in. But somebody's going to make a big shot late, and it's going to carry them to victory.
I love that. I was going to go even just slightly lower. I was going to say 73-70 Tar Heels, but we're right in that same vein, Coach, where it's like, I think, there's the nerves a little bit of Thanksgiving and being on Fox and all that. And I think it takes a while to get going. Two teams that are going to buckle down defensively. And so, yeah, I think we're looking at a game in the mid to low 70s for sure. Carolina eking it out is our hope. All right, Coach. Happy Thanksgiving. So good to be together. Hope it's a great day for you and your family. I got to say thanks again to Jan for letting me be in her house. Jan, thank you so much. You're a real one. You all, if you don't have Coach Rob's book, Carolina Basketball School, go pick up your copy now. You can order it online. Or if, you want to find a way to get it signed for somebody for Christmas, email Coach. He can get you a copy of it that he himself signs with his very own Sharpie or one that he borrows from somebody else. But it will be by his hand. I guarantee you that. You guys, if you're not subscribed to the show on video and audio, do it now so you don't miss a second of Locked on Tar Heels. We will be live after the game today. Yes, even though it's Thanksgiving Day, because that's what you need is another heap and helping of Locked on Tar Heels and wrapping up this Carolina game. If you haven't joined the Locked on Tar Heels Discord or Insiders group, do that now. Those links are in the show notes. We'd love to see you in either or both of those groups. You guys, it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. We'll talk again later today after the game, but until then, peace.